Hello and welcome to Lantern Lane Stories. Tonight's story is The Real Paddington of the Andes. In a house in Lima, on a dusty shelf, sat a small brown toy bear. His fur was soft but old, his eyes bright. A girl named Lucia picked him up carefully, as if he might wake. "What is this?" she asked her grandmother, who sat in the cool shade of the patio. The sun was warm on the stones. Her grandmother smiled. "That is Paddington," she said softly. "He comes from a story about a bear from Peru." Lucia's eyes grew wide. "From Peru?" she whispered. "Yes, a bear from our own country, far away in the mountains." Lucia sat down slowly, holding the little toy bear close to her chest. The mountains she had never seen suddenly felt real, alive, near. It was Christmas Eve long ago, in the year 1956. A man named Michael Bond was walking through a busy train station in London. Very far away, the station was called Paddington. It was cold and snow might fall soon. Michael saw something that made him stop. On a shelf, alone and forgotten, lay a small toy bear. No one wanted him. No child had chosen him for Christmas. Michael felt sad for the little bear. He bought the toy and brought it home to his wife. "I will call him Paddington," he said, "after the station where I found him." Then Michael did something magical. He began to write. He imagined a bear who came from a distant land called Darkest Peru. In 1958, his story was printed in a book. It became famous all over the world. Children everywhere fell in love with Paddington. But Michael knew something special. Paddington was not invented. The bear was real. Far away, in the high peaks of Peru's Andes Mountains, another kind of morning was beginning. The mist hung thick between the trees, like a blanket of clouds. Everything was damp and cool and quiet. A young bear opened his eyes among the branches. Around his eyes, he wore nature's own glasses, white rings of fur that looked painted on. These are spectacled bears, the only bears in all of South America. They live nowhere else on Earth. This little bear stretched, his dark fur still damp from the morning mist. He was alone as he always was. Spectacled bears do not live in families. They are solitary wanderers, quiet and shy. The bear climbed slowly down from his sleeping branch. His legs were strong, his front paws large and careful. He was an excellent climber. The mountain forest was his kingdom, and he knew every tree. The bear walked for hours, his nose twitching, listening. What was he hunting? Not meat, though sometimes he would eat small creatures. He was hunting something sweeter, berries. High in the cloud forest, plants with strange names grew. Bromeliads, which store rainwater in their leaves, cacti with strange fruits, and vines heavy with berries. The bear reached a tall tree. He looked up. He saw fruit, but not quite ripe. The berries were still hard and sour, so he sat. He would wait. Spectacled bears have incredible patience. They will sit in one tree for days, watching the fruit slowly ripen. They will wait so long that a human might forget they were there. But not the bear. He watched. He was very still around him. The forest was alive with the sounds of tiny birds and insects. A mist rolled past like a ghost. The bear blinked his small eyes behind his white spectacles and waited. His white ringed eyes are not a mistake. They are not painted on. The bear was born with them. Each spectacled bear wears a different pattern. Some have thick white rings, some have thin ones. They are as unique as human fingerprints. Scientists think the white patches help the bears find each other in thick forest mist. But mostly, the bear lives alone. He meets other bears only in spring, from April to June during mating season. The rest of the year, he walks the mountains by himself, patient and watchful. The white spectacles make him look wise, even when he is just a young bear. They make him look like he is thinking deep thoughts, and perhaps he is. His brain is as large as a human child's. He remembers where every fruit tree grows. He remembers which tree's berries ripen in which month. In his own quiet way, the spectacled bear is a scholar of the mountains. But the mountains are not as safe as they once were. Far below the cloud forest, where the mountains meet the earth, people were cutting down trees. Roads were being built. Farms were growing larger. The bear's home was shrinking. Only about 6,000 spectacled bears remain in the world. There were once many more, and fewer are born each year. This young bear did not know these facts, of course. But he could sense when the air changed. He could sense when humans came too close. He would move deeper into the mist, higher into the peaks, where the forest was still thick and wild. Still he remained. The mountains were his home. Peru's government declared him the national animal. Children in Lima learned his name. Doctors and scientists worked to protect him. Still, he was alone in the forest, patient, watching, waiting. 2 days passed. The bear did not move from his tree. He simply waited. He blinked. He listened to the rain. Rain came often in the cloud forest, soft and constant. It smelled like green, growing things. The air was cool against his dark fur. On the 3rd day, something changed. The berry that he had been watching turned from yellow to deep purple. It was ripe. The bear reached up with one large paw and picked it gently. He placed it in his mouth. The taste was sweet, complex, perfect. He had been rewarded for his patience. This is what the spectacled bear knows. Good things come to those who wait. In Lima, Lucia still held the toy Paddington in her hands. Her grandmother had told her the whole story. How Michael Bond found a lonely bear on Christmas Eve, how he gave it a name and a home in a story. How that story became famous because it was partly true. The real Paddington, her grandmother said, is still out there in the mountains, wearing his natural spectacles, walking alone through the mist. Waiting patiently for berries to ripen, Lucia looked at the toy bear's eyes. They were not white and ringed like the real bear's, but somehow she understood. The story was real, the bear was real. And Peru, her own country, was keeping him safe. She held Paddington close as evening came. The city lights of Lima dimmed one by one. Far away in the Andes, the young bear with his white spectacles curled up to sleep. And so Lima also slowly fell asleep. Good night.